welcome you to another episode of the Driven by Purpose podcast. My name is Bothwell and I'm your host. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to this podcast, please subscribe and make sure that you click that notification bell so that YouTube may notify you when we load a new episode. In today's episode, we are talking about a topic that is so dear to me. The topic is mastering the art of consistency, and I've got a wonderful guest of mine. He's a brother of mine, and he's a friend of mine. His name is Njabulo Mazibuko. He is a CA, a qualified CA. He's an entrepreneur and a fitness fanatic. Hi, Pranjab. How's it?
Njapila, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you on the platform. You're one person that I had always told myself that when this podcast starts rolling, you'll be one of the guests to grace us. So welcome, man. Welcome. Thanks a lot.
I'm so honored to be here, and I always wanted to see this dream ever fulfilled, to see this driven by purpose take off. So I'm honored to be on this platform.
Thank you for that. So in today's topic, we are dealing with consistency, mastering the art of consistency. But before maybe we go into the topic, we want to know, who is Njabulo Mazibuko? Where do you come from? How did you get to where you are? A business person, a qualified CA, and a fitness fanatic. You are still a family man. All of these things in one man.
Njabulo, I'm originally from Bergville in KZN, from rural areas, La Skhulele khona, with basically nothing. But with the grace of God, I had a passion in life. When I looked at my family situation, I knew that I had to be the solution. I knew that I had to do something, because this is what I believe. If something has to be done, if I don't do it, who should do it?
Yeah.
So I always, and my family background was the motivation for me to push harder in life, to work hard. Because when I looked at my family situation, at one point, my dad was not working, mom and saving, so there was no income. So whilst that might be a reason for other people to give up, for me that was a motivation, because if I don't press on, that situation will never change.
Yeah.
So I had to dig deep ukuze ngibe a solution. And I always prayed to God, I want to bring change to my family. So from a Bergville, I did my matric there. It's called up to Amangwane High School. And kwafanele ukuthi ngiye tertiary. The time fanele ngiye tertiary, it was a very challenging time for the family. Abazali bobabili babengekho ekhaya. Bayaphila, babephila at that time.
Okay.
But babengekho ekhaya. And there was a good reason why babengekho ekhaya. Ngoba ngisho ukuthi isimo sempilo was not good, was not conducive for them to be there. So we had to make a decision with my brother ukuthi so schooling.
Yeah.
Without a cent pocket in sathatha ikhwama sayo hike and went to varsity. And not knowing ukuthi sophila kanjani laphana, but we did.
You had registered by that time, or
not registered, just applied, and it was 2 weeks into that semester, because we were waiting ukuthi maybe sothole imali, but nothing was happening. So, and abazali did not have money, genuinely so, it was just no money. Sathatha ama bags, sa emgwaqeni sa hike, safika varsity, we don't have a place to sleep. Sisazoyonoka into different doors, residents, and financial aid and everything. And we are so grateful ukuthi we never gave up. I read something by Jay-Z. Ati, the most important thing we did was that we did not give up. When I look back, I'm grateful that we did not give up. Then our parents are figure at some point esesletheleke izinto, and akuzange kube easy because in my first 3 years at varsity, no one was working hard. So I wanted to find a way yokuthi appeal to provide for myself. Thank God, someone saw a potential in me. One of my peers at classmate approached me. Wabona I'm good at a certain subject. But can you assist me with extra sort of lessons on this subject?
Okay.
And I will pay you.
Oh, wow.
There was an idea for me. From there,
Business idea availing itself.
yes,
Yeah.
because from there, that's how I survived the varsity life. When I was a senior, now in my 3rd year and doing honors, now I was hired by the Department of Accountancy to tutor the 1st and 2nd years. But that idea was born when one of my peers in the class said to me, please assist me with the subject, I'm struggling. That's how I survived. It was my sort of source of income. It enabled me to eat, to have transport money to go home during the winter break in December and come back to varsity. And then from there, something that amazing that happened to me, we were doing an accounting assignment at varsity and we were doing presentations. There was a firm that came to varsity to do interviews because they wanted students that they would sponsor and also absorb them as trainees in our journey to become CAs, because we have to be a trainee first. Now, I did not apply because I was so caught up in my schoolwork doing this project. One of the learners in our class who applied, when they were interviewing her, she mentioned the class, to the interviewers that, look, we have someone that you're looking for in our class.
Wow.
And that's me. She said, there's a guy called Njabulo. I think you're looking for someone like that. She wanted the sponsorship, she wanted a job, but as they're describing, as the interview is unfolding, and then she came and told me that, and she said, come, let's go now. These people are waiting for you now. Then I said to her, look, just close the door, wait for me outside, because I had to pray to my God.
Yeah.
And I said, this is mine. That came after, I don't know, I've applied 1,000 times, not being successful. But that day, someone knocked at my door, people are looking for you. That's how I got sponsorship and my first job. So I came to Joburg to work for that firm. That's why I qualified as a CA.
Wow.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's a great journey, and it talks much into being focused and being driven to say, you know what, I'm going to achieve whatsoever that I want to do. And where does that drive come from?
You know, as early as I can remember, I was always very excited about achievement. I always loved achieving. I was always a big fan of excellence. All the games that I was playing as a kid, even though there were no prize money, but I always wanted to be tops. I always wanted to come first. As a result, I think the culture of working hard, I told very early in my life. I still remember all my sort of positions from grade R to matric. My grade R, I was position 19. I was not happy with that. That was position 19.
Okay.
December, I was position 18. Then second year, which is grade 2, I was position 8. In June, December, I was position 4. I was still not happy that there were 3 people in front of me. I'm number 4. From standard 1 until matric was position 1. So I always wanted to be the best I can be. I always wanted to win. And over time, I learned that winning is a habit. If you win, it becomes a habit. And it propels you to do your best in every task that you take on the journey. But so is failure. If you fail and you're not bothered by failing, it becomes a habit. Then as you take on more challenges or you come across challenges in life, it's easier to throw it away because it becomes a habit. So for me, winning became a habit. When I looked at the situation, as I've said, Ekai, I realized that someone had to make a difference. And our parents were not educated, are not educated, but they did all they could for us to have better life. I remember when I was going to standard 6, someone came, Ekai, told us about a boarding school, a Zululand. It was an agricultural school. Abazali bami, they took me there, wanting me to get better education. I'm so grateful it did not work out.
Otherwise, you could be a farmer by now.
I have no passion for that.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful for one thing.
Yeah.
They wanted the best. Them taking me there was them wanting the best for me. When that happened, I vowed that I'm going to do my best in life.
Yeah.
I'll be that great wherever field that I'm going to find myself in. They wanted me to be a doctor now besides that farming field. I'm like, I can't tell people, I don't like blood.
Yeah.
So I said, look, I'm going to do accounting because when I look at my marks in standard 6, accounting versus science. Science, I was average 60%, accounting 98%, 90s, I was doing very well in accounting. Then for me, it was a clear cut. I have to be an accountant. So the drive for me came in very early in my life because I wanted to change my family situation. I always had this view that my parents are blessed with their kids. Yeah.
It's an amazing journey for you, and it seems you're talking about passion. You're talking about doing, of which it was an opportunity for you to go into the agricultural space or to become a doctor, but you had no passion for that. How important is it for someone to look into what they are passionate about instead of doing something that is trending? Someone might say, accounting, everyone is a CA, it's a trending thing, but to you it was more like a passion. Or someone will say, doctors, especially now that there is COVID-19, they are highly needed, but you were not passionate about becoming a doctor, but you were passionate about becoming a CA. So how important is it for one to look into what they are passionate about?
Passion speaks to the purpose.
Yes.
So it's very important that one, we understand that we are wired differently. What interests me is different from what interests the next person.
Yeah.
And there is a good reason for that. So if you look at those things, then they will tell you where your passion lies. Sometimes the passion will come from the things that irritate you. Let's say you're walking down the road, you see that kids just playing there, very in a dangerous place, or kids doing things that are not good for them, and that thing bothers you. Whatever that troubles or bothers you, it is your calling. Your calling is hidden there. Wow. So it's very important that you know the purpose. And again, the purpose links to identity. One, knowing who you are, knowing your strengths. Because passion will lie again in your strengths. So for me, for instance, my strengths when it comes to science versus accounting, there was a clear cut. While 65% is not a bad mark, but if there's a 90 somewhere else, it shows that my strengths are stronger with accounting. And in life, passion is important because when the money is not rolling in, let's say you are in a business, but if you're not passionate about a business, when the customers are not coming, when money is not coming in, your passion is going to carry you through. Wow. Now, if there is no passion, that means you're in it for money. That's the only motivator. You're in it for money. When the money is not there, you're not going to do it. You have to ask yourself, why so many of us, we wake up in the morning, we go to work, or you do certain things. Whilst it is okay to do things because you have to, because you need to put bread on the table.
Yeah, yeah.
You need a good dose of love or of passion for the thing, so that you can go an extra mile. So without passion, a person is working but ubheka isikhathi ukuthi shaya uniform na
Yeah, 4 o'clock,
sengiyayeka.
yeah,
So you being a clock watcher because you're not passionate. When you're passionate, you won't even realize what is 4 hours later. You're supposed to knock off at 4, now it's 8 p.m. You're still working. Why? There's a passion. I learned that a man who does more than what he is paid will soon be paid more than what he does.
Wow.
Because people will pay now for the solutions you provide, regardless of the amount of time that it takes. But for you to get there, you need passion, because passion is going to allow you to spend 10,000 hours on a certain skill.
Wow.
If you don't have a passion, you won't do that. I learned something about Bruce Lee. Some of us might know him from the karate movies.
Yeah.
That guy once said, he said, I don't fear a man who do 10,000 different kicks
Yeah.
at a certain time. But I fear a man who takes one kick 10,000 times.
Wow.
Because there's passion there and there's consistency.
Yeah. Okay. And you're stepping into our topic that we are dealing with today, mastering the art of consistency. Maybe before we go deeper into the subject, if we may just define what is consistency and what is the importance of consistency.
Consistency is marked by regularity, repeatedly, steadily, continuity.
Yeah.
So when you talk consistency, you have to think continuity, something that is being done or said repeatedly. Now, why that is important is this quote that I want to highlight here. We are what we do repeatedly.
Wow.
We are what we do consistently. Now, in other words, success does not come from what we do occasionally. Success comes from what we do consistently. Now, without consistency, there's no success.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you think there's success without consistency, that means you're thinking of a big break. You're thinking of a lottery ticket. Because there's no consistency. You just play the numbers, random numbers, and you get lucky. But that's not how life works. In life, you need consistency. You need repeated actions to see the results. So what I want to say is that if you want to see any success in any area of your life, you need consistency there. You need to do certain actions repeatedly. Then you will see success. Now for me, there's two ways that we've spoken about: passion and consistency. If you marry those two together, passion plus consistency will give you success. You need to have
That's
passion, and then you take certain actions repeatedly, which is now consistency. Then you'll be successful.
So which means the passion does not bear any significance if there is no action and consistency towards pushing that passion.
We have seen people that were passionate in life or that were skillful, but because they lacked consistency, I always say there's a bigger brother of consistency, which is discipline.
Yeah.
If you have a passion but you're not disciplined, in other words, you're not consistently putting the hours required, with that passion, you're going to fail.
Wow.
Someone once said, a genius without a plan, the word genius, it means you are excellent in a certain area, but you don't have a plan.
Wow.
You'll be beaten by a fool with a plan or an amateur with a plan. So now, that's why now consistency is very, very important. Passion alone, because remember, even if both we are passionate,
Yeah.
if for a sustained period of time results are not coming in, even with the passion, you are going to possibly give up. But if you have a passion and you marry that with discipline, in other words, you don't see the results, but you're still putting effort.
Wow.
you will get the results one day. It might take time, it might take long time, but if you're consistent enough in your actions, you will be successful.
That's amazing. Like doing something repeatedly.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you are not getting results now or you don't see results now, but you do it repeatedly.
You're touching on a very, very important point. Why people give up in life is because they measure the results by the evidence of an eye.
Yeah.
Now, if the eye does not see the change or the impact now, then umuntu uthi, this is not working. It's because they're just looking at the present. If in life you want to be successful, you must give yourself time.
Yeah.
Do not expect instant gratification. Things take time. There's a very important verse for me in the Bible. I want to just highlight it. Genesis chapter 8, verse 22. It says, as long as it is called today, there is time to plant, cultivate, and harvest. Whilst we all understand that, but most of us are not willing to do the cultivating. We want to plant and immediately you will reap the rewards or the results. But that's not how life works. You plant a seed, then you cultivate. It's in the cultivation that you get the results. Because a planting can be an event, but cultivating, you cultivate daily, you cultivate hourly, you cultivate yearly. So it is important that we cultivate.
Yeah.
In other words, we put in those actions repeatedly.
That's a great point. But now, when it comes to doing something repeatedly, how does one get to a point of saying, this is working? I can do it over and over again until I achieve something. And how do you draw a line and say, I'm doing something, but I've been doing it over and over again, but it's not yielding any results? How do you draw the line there in terms of being consistent in something which is going to bring fruit and being consistent in something which is not productive?
Okay, when it comes to that, nowadays especially, it's very easier for this generation to give up because we are an instant gratification generation. So we want to see the results now. And if we don't see the results after 2 attempts, 3 attempts, 4 attempts, we give up. So what I'll say then, because I learned this, successful people and unsuccessful people are doing the same things, but there is a difference. The successful people have got greater awareness and understanding what it takes to be successful. So whilst everybody, for instance, everybody is reading books, successful people are reading different books.
Yeah.
So unsuccessful people are reading books, but those books, they don't add value into their lives. So that means if you are serious about the results, number one, you need to have mentors, for instance. If you want to be successful in a field of, let's say, production, you need to have mentors that have already achieved what you're still striving to achieve. So in other words, so that you can measure your actions. Because it's very easy that you do actions, but those actions will never get you anywhere. So if you don't have people that you look up to, then you might be in a space where you are very busy but not productive. And these days we confuse business and productivity. We're all busy. Everyone is busy. But there are no results. Why? That means we're busy with wrong things. So one of the things that we can do is to have mentors. And when you choose a mentor, you look at someone who has already achieved what you're still trying to achieve. And then when it comes to the time, how long should I wait before maybe I say this is not working? John Maxwell once said about leadership. He said, if you spend 1 hour a day, every day, that means 365 hours in a year, for 5 years on a certain subject, after 5 years you'll be an expert.
You become a master in that subject.
But trust me, it is not about counting 5 years. The message there is that you do it countless times.
Okay.
The message is not like, look, I'm going to give it 10 shots. After 10 times, if it doesn't work, then I leave it. I'm telling you, you won't be successful. Another author once said, don't read a book. Read 200 books. Again, the emphasis there is not to count. I'm going to buy 200 books. After 200 books, that's it. No. The message there is that you do it repeatedly. As long, again, let's go to that verse. As long as you still up, as long as you still have your breath, you do the thing. When it comes to the gospel, we just want to read one verse.
And we want to,
and then,
to excel from that.
Exactly. You want to excel, but your effort is bare minimum. Jesus once said, there's a correlation between what God does and what you do. He said when it comes to praying, there is a part that you can't just pray to God to do things when you're not pulling your weight in doing what you have to do. So, the answer here is that you don't count, you do whatever it takes. If you need to get assistance, but you do whatever it takes.
Wow. You mentioned a point saying people are busy. Everyone is busy, but some are busy and they are not productive. Some are busy being productive. But how does one identify and say, you know what, I am productive? And how does one see just that, no, I'm just busy not being productive? And what help does one need to get to a point where they're saying, I am busy being productive?
All right. There are two E's that are important. The first E is education. The second E is experience. If you want to be successful in anything, you need education. You need to have information about that cause or that subject. Because if you're going to jump onto a project without education, that is very dangerous. Because think of a doctor. If someone were to operate you, and now you're lying there, and then they tell you, I've never studied this. I've never read a book on this. How much confidence will you have on that person doing it?
You will wake up from the hospital bed.
Exactly. So to be successful, you need to have education on that, and you need to have experience. Whilst these days, if you're looking at the sort of an unemployment and those challenges, it's very easy for someone to say, look, but I can't get experience, no one is hiring. So now, whilst it is not easy sometimes to get experience, and the challenge for me there is that people want to be paid for them to learn. Then it is very important that if you want experience, and you have identified the field that you're interested in, you go volunteer your services there for free. Because if you come to me in the production company and say, look, you want a job, and we don't have positions, then I'm going to turn you away. But imagine if you said to me, Mr. Mazibuko, I'm interested in production. I want to be a camera operator. Right now, I know nothing about that. Please teach me for free. Can I just come and watch you guys when you are on set? I will not turn you away if you do that. We got a good reference in the Bible where Ruth unawomu buyela back ezweni lakubo uhamba with his daughter-in-law by the name of Ruth. Mabefika laphana bahleza benza lutho. And then Naomi says to Ruth, akahambe aye une-relative. uRuth uyafika laphana emasimini. Uthi uRuth, ngicela ukuhamba behind laba abavuna, those who are harvesting. I just want to walk behind them.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to disturb them. I'm going to allow them to do whatever they're doing. Then I'm just going to try and find something that's the leftovers. That attitude is what we're lacking these days. Now we attempt to do things both ways without education. We don't know them. We don't have a theoretical education, and we don't have experience. And when it comes to experience, we say no one is hiring me. Yes, don't go for a job. Go to volunteer your services. In other ways, you are there to learn, not to earn. Remember, at first, you need to learn so that you can earn. And once you are established, that's where you earn. But our challenge these days is that we don't want to do anything for free. Yet the lessons are there when you are willing to serve for free.
Yeah.
There's a book by Robert Kiyosaki where he says the rich dad said to them, I want you guys, talking to his boys, I want you to work for me, but I'm not going to pay you a cent. And then they said, but if you're not paying us, why are we here? And then he said to them, I want you to be here for other reason than money. The fact that I'm not paying you here, we're going to make sure that you learn each second that you're going to spend here. So I want to say to people, for you to know that what you're doing is working or not, you need to have experience. And if no one is hiring, you go volunteer your services. And you need to invest time in studying the cause that you want to do, in studying the field. Because, let's make a simple example in the township where we are. If you know little about the township, you won't even identify opportunities. But a person that knows more about the township, they will know the opportunities that lie there. So you need education and you need experience. But having said that, I want to caution us again, don't set your eyes on the results too early. Just focus and trust the process. Trust the process enough just to follow the process, even though you don't see results. Let's come back to one of my favorite activities, which is exercise. I see a lot of people, they want to lose weight. They try this gymming thing or exercising for a week, they don't see results, and then they give up.
Yeah.
But 2 weeks is nothing for you to see an impact. Now, because people are measuring the results by the evidence of an eye, they give up too quickly. So I want to say to us, don't look at the results. Just focus on doing the right action. The education, the experience will help you know that this is the right action that I'm taking every day. So let's focus on the actions repeatedly. You need mentors. You read books on the subject. These days, when I talk to students, even at matric level, they're all having business ideas already.
They
but
all
you
want
ask
to
them,
run business.
now you want to write a movie. Have you ever been on set, on someone else's movie? You just on set, you observing? No. Okay.
No, they watch that's magic.
Yes, all they did was to watch TV, 2 movies, and they are finding faults in all of them. Now they want to write their own movie. So what tells me they don't have experience, they don't have education. What are the chances of them being successful? So in other words, they are already preparing themselves for failure here because they're not doing enough groundwork in terms of acquiring the required information. Remember, you need to transform your mind. How do you transform your mind? How do you equip your mind? By feeding it quality information.
Quality information. Not just information, but quality information.
If you have mentors, they will help you to pick the right books for the cause or for the field that you want. Then you will get proper, good guidance. Rather than just picking any book and saying, look, but I've read books. But there was no guidance. There was no strategy in the selection of the books. You're watching TV shows, but again, there's no strategy. So just watching any other show. If you have a plan, you're going to watch certain movies or certain programs because they speak to your purpose. They cultivate that gift in you. So before you say something is not working, just look at what you feed in your mind, because that's very, very important.
Yeah.
Look at the people around you that are influencing or that are enhancing the seed. Because you need people, you need network that's going to enhance the seed that's already deposited in you.
Yeah, you know, when you're touching on that, it reminds me of a statement that I love, and I love saying it. Says, the kind of people that you surround yourself with, they determine the level of your success.
Yes. Remember, we said earlier on, we are what we do repeatedly. So the company that you keep determines what you do repeatedly.
Yeah.
You keep the wrong company doing the wrong things, then you wonder why your efforts are not yielding success. It's because of the company. And Jesus said, we are our words. And our words come from the 5 people that are closest to you. Our words come from the programs that we watch. So if you don't watch what you feed into your mind through the friendships, through the relationships, through the programs, then you're not going to get the results. Because even though in your mind you know that you want to go that direction, your company will keep pulling you down. If you surround yourself with people who are not motivated, I'm telling you, it's always a drag to do anything with those people because they're just not motivated.
Yeah.
You want to pull up, they remind you of your previous failures. You want to say, guys,
you
there's a new joint venture or there's a new venture here, there's a new opportunity. They say, but how about the one where we fail? So be very careful of who you surround yourself with, because the closest 5 people, they influence who boyfriend is. The closest 5 people, they somehow influence your vocabulary. For instance, someone who says, your life is difficult, money is scarce, that person will never have money. Because he goes around thinking money is scarce, so he won't even try looking for it. It's a scarce resource. But someone who says...
Even if it's available somewhere,
yes,
they are now ignorant about the whole...
Yes, because their mentality tells them this is a scarce resource. But someone who says, I just need the right strategy to unearth the resources of this earth, they go around looking for opportunities because they know that money exists. I just need to give people reason to pay me their money. So they'll come up with a reason why we should pay them. Then someone who says, who thinks money is a scarce resource, someone who thinks they are not good enough, they don't even put 120, they don't even put 100% effort. But someone who believes that they are good enough, you know, Tiger Woods, he's one of the best golfers ever to live. He's an active golfer who has more trophies than any other golfer playing right now. At the age 5, he made a commitment to his father. At the age 9, he said, Dad, I'll be professionally excelling. Age 9.
Wow.
Age 9. See, now that mindset and multiplying with excellence, with consistency. The guy is the greatest golfer ever.
So it starts in your mind.
In the mind. And you commit to it. Because consistency, both will come from what you commit yourself to. If you don't commit yourself to anything, then you're not going to be consistent in that.
Because there is no commitment.
Because there's no commitment. And remember, the older brother, discipline, you need to be disciplined. Because it's not always going to be easier. Even if you're passionate about something. You know, for me, waking up every morning to jog is not always easy. I have done it so many times, so sometimes I think it should be easy. But there are days where I feel like I'm carrying the whole world on my shoulder.
I thought that now it's easy for you. It's an automatic thing.
Generally, it's easy, but there are days where it's not easy. That's when discipline kicks in.
Ooh, yes,
That's
discipline.
when the benefit of being disciplined comes in. And the day I ran when I was not feeling like running, that's when I celebrate the most.
Yeah.
That's when I've achieved, because I feel like today I was not ready, I did not want to do it. But if I did it that day, that's when it counts the most.
Pranjabs, out of all these things, you are a family man. You are into business, to production business. You are working as an accountant. How do you find yourself being consistent in all these aspects of your life? You're also a fitness fanatic. You have to apply that concept, I'm sure, in all the fields. How do you navigate life in terms of being consistent in delivering to the maximum ability in all these fields?
I'd say you need to have a plan. So you need to have a plan for your life. You need to have a plan for a year. You need to have a plan for a month, a plan for the week, and you even plan each day.
Yeah.
So, and you also build a routine. It helps, whilst we all don't like routine, but it helps a great deal if you build a routine. For instance, I know my day starts at 5. So at 5, I have to wake up, and the first thing I do is exercise. Then I exercise. I've got 2 hours to exercise between 5 and 7. Now, without discipline, I will snooze the alarm at 5.
Yeah, I know
Then
some of us do that.
Then I start exercising at 6. That's going to affect the rest of my day.
Oh, yes.
But if I'm disciplined, I stick to 5 to 7. At 7 now, we're taking kids to school. I have to be there. I take my kids to school every day. I drive them to school.
Yeah.
And from there, then I'm working as an accountant.
Yeah.
After that, whilst it's easy for most people to say, look, it's been a long day,
I'm tired.
exercise, I'm tired. I learned this. The Bible says in Umshumayeli, English Umshumayeli 11,
Yeah.
it says, in the morning, go plant a seed. In the evening, don't rest your head. Simply translation to that, saying once you go, you work for someone else. In the evening, you're working on your dream. Now, if you're going to be this person that says, I'm tired, you'll never have time to work on your dream.
Yeah.
You will say, look, I want to pursue this, but I don't have time because I'm working. No, you do have time.
You do have a lot of
Yes. The Bible says in the evening, after 5, you don't rest your hand. That's when you're working on your dream. Or maybe you wake up early. Because again, we cannot encourage people to cheat during someone else's time when you're doing your own thing. No. Be obedient. Do what you need to do during the time.
Yeah, don't steal your boss's time.
Don't
please.
steal the time. But either early hours or in the evenings, you're working on your dream. You don't rest your hand. I remember Miles Monroe is saying great books were written after 5.
Oh, good.
They were written by someone who was working somewhere else, maybe as a teacher during the day. In the evening, they sat down, they wrote a book because you don't rest your hand. And if you've got a family, I've got a family, I've got a wife, I've got kids. When you plan your time, involve them, make them understand that at this time I'm working on this project. As I'm here, they are aware. I told them the first time we had a telephonic conversation that, look, I might have to go to Bothwell, we need to do this. So they're aware. So that this is accommodated in the family schedule. When I come back, guys, we're going to do 1, 2, 3. But during this time, I'm not available. So you plan your day. You make sure that people closest to you are aware of your calendar. So that because remember, I don't want to be successful entrepreneur at the expense of my family. So I need to make sure that I take them to my confidence by involving them in setting up these plans and making sure they are aware. But most importantly, you need discipline to make sure that you give your best performance in all of these areas.
So you need to have a passion. You need to be disciplined. Rather, you need to plan. And be disciplined to follow the plan.
On this issue of a plan, Jesus said, it's foolish for a builder to start a construction, is building a huge property, and they did not sit down to calculate the cost.
God.
Now the plan will help you, one, identify the resources that are needed to accomplish whatever, the people that you're going to need in there, and how much it's going to cost you, so that when you are not ready financially, you postpone the project. If you don't plan, you'll never know whether you're ready or not. But when you plan, you know that, okay, I'm almost ready to do this. I just need 1, 2, 3. Then you work on those resources. then put a plan into practice, into motion.
Thinking about all this,
Why are people failing in the game of consistency?
31st of December, we come with New Year's resolutions. We have the drive to start a new thing, to do this. You do it for the first week, December comes, you haven't achieved anything.
I want to touch on 3 key reasons. There's a book called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson who talks about these things. 3 things why people fail. One is that things that are required for any person to be successful in any field are easy to do. Things that are required are so easy to do. But note this, they are also very easy not to do.
Oh, yes.
Now, let's just take something as simple as being healthy. Being healthy, you don't have to do amazing things or have extra budget. It just takes drinking water.
Drink your water, HO2.
How easy it is to drink water? Very easy. Is it costly? No, it's not costly. But what I want to tell you, it's also very easy not to drink water.
Yes.
In other words, it's so easy to skip these small things that lead to success. It's so easy to skip them. Very easy. And successful people, because of the greater awareness of what it takes to be successful and the greater understanding, they continuously do these things. Whilst as unsuccessful people, it's easier for them to skip these things. People who are mindful about their health, they always drink water. Bottle, I'm telling you, every day when I wake up, I fill up my 2-liter bottle. Every day, without fail. And it's regardless, there are no feelings. I don't have to feel anything. There are no emotions. I
Yeah.
don't even look at the weather. No, today is raining. I don't care whether it's raining or not raining. In the morning, I fill up my 2-liter water bottle. The first reason why people are failing to be consistent is because things that are required to be successful are easy, simple things to do. Actually mundane things, very easy to do, but also not very easy not to do.
Yeah.
Very easy not to do. And linking to that, the second reason is this. It's because the results are invisible. When you do these things, you don't see the result immediately. If you look for the evidence of the impact, you're not going to see it. Drinking water every day, after a week, you're not going to see a result.
Yeah.
No, you're not going to see anything. People who don't drink water again, they're going to look at me, look at them, we still look the same. Nothing has changed. Because the results are not visible in the present. The results are invisible
Yeah.
in the short term. But remember, this is a marathon game. You mentioned a point about people making New Year's resolution, and then after 2 weeks, they stop. Why? They are not seeing the results. But they don't understand that the results are in the compound effect. What is the compound effect? If we're talking about money, I'll say if you save 5 rand every day, it doesn't seem much, and it does not cost too much. You're not going to feel a pain of putting 5 rand away. But trust me, if you do that over 30 years, that 5 rand a day might amount to hundreds of thousands of money, because the results are not in the immediate now. The results are in the long run. So as bad choices. Bad choices, again, won't kill you today. Because why people make bad choices? They're thinking, look, nothing happened though. You know, my daughter likes to say this. When you tell her, don't jump there, you're going to fall, she jumps and says, look, Daddy, I didn't
know.
fall. But now, because she's a child, she does not realize that the error in judgment repeated over time is going to give the immeasurable results. So imagine if you make a wrong decision, but you keep on making these wrong decisions every day. Although you don't see the result, but over time, lot of us, we know that smoking is bad for us. But smoking for 2 days chances are you're not going to feel anything. But smoke over 50 years. The third reason and the final one. These simple things, they seem insignificant. But well, it seems like, I'm doing these things, they don't have any impact. It seems like, no, there's no impact. They just seem so insignificant. A lot of us think that what I do today, it does not matter in the long run because it's just for today. But again, if you think like that, you're missing the fact that we are creatures of habits. What you do today, there's a good chance you'll repeat tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's a good chance you're going to repeat that next week. And you're going to repeat that next month. And because of these simple things that you need to be consistent in, most of the time, no one will even notice that you're doing it. No, people won't notice. And worse, they won't even applaud. No one will applaud you for doing these simple things.
Yeah.
Because why? They seem insignificant.
But they've got a great impact.
Great impact. One day when you see the results, you will think, wow, it's a big break. It's not a big break. It was always coming. It was always coming. What we do today, it matters. So if it's a good thing or bad thing, I'm telling you, 40 years later, you're going to sit with the results of the decisions you made today.
There is something that I wanted to mention in terms of consistency and failure. I take it even from my end. I'm one person who wants to be perfect before starting something. Like I will prolong something because I want to make sure that it's perfect when I started. And with that in mind, it's because I feel like I fear so much to fail. How dangerous is fearing of failure in terms of starting something and becoming consistent in that subject?
You mentioned a very important word, fear. If fear is your enemy, it works against you because it stops you, or it works as a deterrent. You don't do things because of failure. Now, make fear your accomplice. Make fear your friend.
Okay.
Let fear motivate you to go for it.
Oh, wow.
Rather than making fear your enemy to stop you. Now, and from knowing you, Bothwell, I know you're a man of perfection. You want to do things perfectly. But I want to say to you, you don't need perfection, you need consistency.
Yeah.
In life, most of the things, there's nothing straight, there's nothing perfect in life. So don't aim for perfection, but aim for consistency. I've learned that a rocket ship, and spaceship to another planet and stuff.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of science behind it and measurements. But they say 95% of the time is off track.
Yeah.
95%, 97, not 5. 97% of the time I think is off track, but it gets where it's going. So that means you have to just work on steering yourself. So don't aim for perfection. It's okay when you go off track, as long as you come back to it, as long as you know where you're going and you keep steering it. Because everything is moving. There's nothing that's static in life. Everything is moving. So if you want a perfect, you might not get it. So don't aim for perfection, but aim for consistency. Warren Buffett once said, you don't need to be smarter than everyone else. Because there'll always be someone who's smarter than you. There'll always be someone who's better than you in whatever. But aim to be the most disciplined. That's what you need. You need to be the most disciplined because you will encounter failure. So when you want to start a new venture, rather than fearing failure, know before you start, I might fail here, so that you are at peace with that.
Yeah.
But the amazing statement that I've ever heard about failure, one person once said, if you want to maximize your success for double the rate of failure.
Okay.
In other ways, the more you fail, the more you become successful. Because the more you fail, the more you learn. Because the lessons are in the situations where we fail.
Mm.
The problem is when you fail, you don't go back to what went wrong. You go back to the beginning. When you start again, you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from failure.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
why the person said, if you want to be successful, double the rate of fail. Remember, when you're failing, that means you're already out there trying something.
Oh, yes.
You have
yes.
steps ahead than someone who's still perfecting their plan, but they have got no experience.
Oof.
You, with your failure, you are already acquired experience.
Mm.
When you're doing it again, it's not from scratch,
Yeah.
but it is from experience. So double the rate of failure, then you'll be successful.
Ooh, that's awesome. That's awesome. You know, me and you, we can talk till tomorrow comes. But man, thanks a lot for coming through and talking about this topic, mastering the art of consistency. If anyone wants to contact you, get hold of you, where do they find you?
People can get hold of me on my Facebook page. I am Njabulo Mazibuko on Facebook, and I've got Instagram page. Yeah, those two platforms. Production company is Very Productions on Instagram, Very Productions again on Facebook page.
Thanks a lot, Njabulo. Thanks a lot for honoring us with your presence. Okay, thanks for tuning in onto our episode. This is the Driven by Purpose podcast. Please make sure that you subscribe and click on the notification bell so that YouTube can notify you when we load a new episode. Stay blessed. I love you.